Attackers unleash bloody horror in mass stabbing spree on English train. Terror. So it's anti-white terrorism. Again, as the cops are investigating. So this is the consequences of anti-whiteism as visited upon us personally. And in a moment, we'll take a little bit of a broader view, the consequences of anti-whiteism visited on us impersonally by way of governance, by way of these different bodies that have been empowered, that are governmental or quasi-governmental, and etc. So here we have, yet again, it's going to be your family next. So for all of you conservatives out there, all of you cowards, all of you cravens that keep thinking that, oh, you'll just white flight, who cares what happens to the rest of the white race? Hey, complain about Jews. Hey, complain about blacks as you pack your bags and you're running down the street and you've got the proverbial suitcase and you got clothes hanging through the zipper somehow. Go ahead and keep complaining while the rest of us are butchered, because it's going to find you. 10 people were wounded in a stabbing attack on a train in England on Saturday by two suspects brutally set upon, terrified. So two anti-white terrorists brutally set upon terrified passengers with huge knives. And anti-terror investigators are probing the incident. So why aren't they called at least terrorists? You know, when a person shows up at a synagogue with a knife in the UK, then they're terrorists, and the white taxpayers' money is put to fortifying the synagogues to protect them and etc. Why do they get that treatment? Well, it's because some of them work together for individual well-being by way of group well-being. 9 of the victims suffered life-threatening injuries in the attack. When I know what we should do, we should ban firearms, which was carried out by 2 unidentified subjects, which, by the way, weren't they calling them British citizens or something like this? On a train, 7:35 p.m., as it left the train station. On the way from, Peterborough to London. So it's a train. The 2 men, anti-white terrorists, dressed in all black, were restrained, tasered and restrained, and taken into custody by police, according to that report. So, life-threatening injuries, the terror, these people are never recovering. They're never getting better. Everybody who was in the train and witnessed this and could have been stabbed, psychologically, they'll never recover. This is victimization. We are harmed. We have been victimized. Don't talk about my victimization. Don't talk, says the cuck, right? The chest puffer. Don't talk about my victimization because I'm very insecure. And I got things to be insecure about. Let me tell you, I got some things, really tiny things to be insecure about. So we're never going to talk about that victimization. Authorities have not announced a motive. It's anti-whiteism. Jews would have no problem at all, concluding that it's anti-Semitism. But white people, you want to complain about somebody, complain about whites. No motive for the horrifying stabbing. You know, it's going to end up all over the West, just like we suffer in South Africa. It'll be a robbery gone wrong. It will be the pressure of living in a Western world and all the persecution and etc., having to live among white people and see them and see anything that white people built that caused them to snap. That's why they did it. Reports said the cops used the term code Play-Doh for the incident, which is used for in the UK for, well-written, New York Post, for an apparent marauding terror attack. A mad rush commenced in the train during the attack. sending bloodied riders rushing down aisles and hiding in bathrooms. So now we have to live like this. We shouldn't have to live like this. We should be able to go several lifetimes, never having a marauding anti-white terror attack. Never go ahead and live to 200 years of age and never experience that. We have a biospiritual incompatibility. Multiracialism doesn't work. We've seen that everywhere. So we have this biospiritual, and as a consequence, you're standing in a train. No, not you. Not you. Somebody you love deeply and care for deeply is standing in a train, and suddenly there are screams, and they don't know what's happening. And like everyone, they're looking to see what it is. And they see the crowd lurching backward, and people are getting smashed together, trod on by other passengers. People scream bloody murder for their lives. And then finally, your loved one gets a view of the spectacle as people are cut down with butcher's knives, with machetes, with stilettos. And they get a good look at the anti-white terrorists with fanaticism in their face, fanaticism in their rage. And they see the lifeblood of other people pouring out onto the floor. The terror, the body's going cold. Your loved one. Have you had enough of just complaining? The life-preserving dash led to travelers being stamped on by others. Crawling for his or her life, your loved one, being trampled by others. The specter of what they had just seen in their minds, gaining on them with a giant blade covered in the blood of others. If you are a complainer or an abstractionist, you run away from this story. You run away from what's done to our people. If you serve white well-being, you run toward this. One witness stated that there was blood everywhere after the attack. So much of this, female instinct is employed in anti-whiteism. The anti-whites appeal to female instinct, and then they apply. And what's been the consequence? Instead of individual responsibility, instead of our norms, instead of an individual empowered with the tools with which they can defend themselves, the female instinct says, take away everything. And once again, you see the exact same phenomenon in nursery rooms where it belongs. If a child uses X to beat on another child, they take it away. They take all of the items of that type away. Well, now it just can't happen anymore. But ladies, you're not dealing with children. You're dealing with adults who will get X to do whatever they want. So all you've ended up doing is depriving those who would defend themselves of the means of self-defense. But you feel good about it, don't you? Quote, they were making their way through the carriage to get away from the suspects. They were extremely bloodied. That witness stated he saw one of the attackers on the platform with, quote, quite a large knife. You know, in white well-being, in this community, white positivity, we yield to the masculine instinct. We yield to personal responsibility, to taking chances, to taking risks. We do not yield to everybody getting along. We do not yield to these female instincts of punishing the victim who responds to the attack. The suspect had also come off the train as well. So while we were being told to come out of the station, the suspect was obviously running rampant. Don't worry, though. The state will be there to pick up your body, your loved one's body. Video posted to social media showed a massive emergency response. The Huntington station, with dozens of people and ambulances swarming the scene. We are currently responding to an incident on a train with multiple people have been stabbed. Prime Minister anti-white extraordinaire Keir Starmer lamented the bloodshed and offered condolences in a social media post. Thanks so much. He did not say anything about the identity of the attackers because we know what that means. We know what that means every single time. The appalling incident on a train is deeply concerning. My thoughts are with those affected. And my thanks go to the emergency services. So a useless anti-white POS in the form of Keir Starmer. But yeah, keep thinking you're going to vote your way out of this without addressing the social morality of the West, which is the anti-white immoral imperative. Keep thinking it's just going to be another right-wing politician. Maybe it needs a little bit to be more right-wing. Just keep voting for this, and just like everybody's been doing all along.